Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I know that I talked a lot in the past about bureaucrats and bureaucracy. It was normally framed in a negative connotation. In order for me to stay fair, I'd like to clarify some things in order not to be misunderstood. I know that bureaucracy might be useful when we deal with large and complicated organisms. However, when I talk about it in a negative context, I normally refer to the political system that our society has created, where bureaucrats tend to overcomplicate things in order to justify their financial waste and the corruption that benefits them and their families and their friends, etc. We are familiar with concepts like aristocracy, democracy. We talked about it in the past as well. When I talk about bureaucracy here, I mean the takeover of the bureaucratic class over our societies to replace what was called in the past the ruling class or aristocracy or nobility. Now, we have a bureaucratic or feudalism. We have a bureaucracy or feudalism of bureaucrats using unlimited resources that they forcefully obtained in the name of lawfare in order to grant themselves more privileges while limiting the freedoms of others or taxing others more and more in order to finance their luxury, the luxury of the bureaucrats, in the name of organizational social needs, even using the tax money in order to make films about themselves as heroic bureaucrats. In politics and in the police, regardless of how many abusive people there are, to portray themselves as those who save society from criminals and terrorists and greedy businessmen who actually finance this whole society in real life by paying its taxes to the bureaucrats. This is why criminality is actually the outcome of the injustice of the system created by the bureaucrats, the injustice that is created by bureaucrats, and terrorism that is the outcome of abusive wars created by corrupt bureaucrats. Of course, there are criminals, but on TV and in films funded by public money, you see the emphasis only on heroic bureaucrats against greedy businessmen or immoral criminals, as if this is 100% cases, all financed by the working class to portray the bureaucrats by force as the saviors of society in order to tolerate their corruption and abuse and to glorify them unconditionally, while in reality, the bureaucratic class is the most wasteful group ever, and not as genius and efficient as in films and in TV series. This is what I refer to when I talk negatively about bureaucrats. But things don't have to be that way. Bureaucracy is merely a tool. It can be used efficiently or it can be abused. Even for the efficiency of my business, I need to do some office work in order to organize my communication with my clients and with my network and to sustain my business. It's not 3 people. We are talking here about hundreds of people. It is impossible to keep track of things without documentation and office work. Bureau, which means office in French. So when I interact with a group significantly larger than me, things need to be communicated in a precise and official manner in order to keep agreements and instructions transparent and trackable. So for my business, where I deal with clients and other human resources, I also need to do some office work, to call people, to reply to emails, to make appointments, to document some dates in order to track and improve and serve everyone efficiently without confusion, especially when one works with many people. There's not the kind of bureaucracy that I criticize. This is essential in order to sustain a business or a large organism with more complicated procedures. I speak only about abuse of public wealth for personal gain. So when I frame something in a negative or a positive connotation, it is important to see it in the relevant context and not to assume that I'm patronizing all bureaucrats and all bureaucratic jobs in general. On the contrary, I'm so grateful I grew up in a functional bureaucracy where I had great teachers at school, for example, who gave me their best, not only to teach me languages and computer science that served me best all my life, they have also set the standard of adulthood and manhood and discipline and ethical codes that have also served me best, just like any professional skill. I'm also grateful to the bureaucrats who keep the streets clean and safe. Thanks to those, I live in a clean and safe environment. I'm thankful to those who give their best to keep society functional and protected from bullies. I'm not talking about those. I criticize only those who are riding on the backs of the hard-working people in the name of law and order and organization in order to enrich themselves while impoverishing everybody else. I hope I could make the distinction clear. Thank you everyone for staying with me. I'm Shredy Jabarin. Ciao.